All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this yoga and meditation class with the Cohen Clinic. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name's Jessica. I'm a health and wellness coach and a yoga and meditation instructor. Today, we're going to be doing a gentle yoga practice and some meditation. We're going to start out standing. And it'll be an option that you can either move to a chair or move down to a mat on the floor. So if you don't have those things available, I'd suggest having a sturdy chair that you can lean on for support if you need that. And then perhaps having perhaps a pillow if you have a meditation cushion, those are perfect, or a blanket for when we do our meditation at the end to be able to make yourselves comfortable and cover up if you need to. So we'll go ahead and get started standing up though. So you can go ahead and just find a comfortable standing position. You can have the feet about shoulder width apart. Starting to just settle into our practice today. And we'll go ahead and place the hands on the belly to begin with here, and starting to deepen the breath a little bit and not forcing the breath, but just allowing the abdomen to rise and that diaphragm to contract down fully with each breath. You can even give an audible exhale, kind of like a sigh of relief with each exhalation. Just kind of exhaling out like a full body sigh of relief. Just kind of exhaling out everything from the day. And then if the eyes are closed, you can go ahead and open the eyes and just returning to a normal breath. And I thought maybe to start out with today, we might do a little bit of just shaking to kind of awaken the body, shake off the remnants of the day. So you can shake in whatever way feels comfortable for you that helps to start to open up the body. You can kind of rock the head back and forth as you shake the neck a little, shaking the arms, shaking the legs. And perhaps shifting back and forth. And now we're going to do some rotational movements to help open up the body, opening up all of the major joints and kind of energy centers and lines in the body. So we're going to start with some big shoulder rolls here. And you can do this movement with the breath, doing it as you inhale, bringing the shoulders up, and as you exhale, bringing the shoulder blades together and back and dropping towards the ground. Really allowing for a big, full movement here, opening up that shoulder girdle. And then as you're ready, you can change directions. And having that chair next to you, just in case you need it for any support here for these movements. And you can also sit to begin with and then stand up in a few minutes if doing these rotational movements throws your balance off a little too much. Welcome to do whatever works for you today. And I forgot to say at the beginning, I cannot see all of you, so as we're doing this virtually, so please listen to your body and do what works for you today. Everything that I'm giving you are suggestions. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and do a little more isolated movements of the shoulder. So we're going to go ahead and take the left thumb and the four fingers, placing them underneath the crook of the left arm and making a circle with that left elbow. As you do this, feeling all those connections all the way up into the neck, the chest, and the upper back here. We're going to gently open all of those before we move to any rotations really of the neck. And changing directions if you haven't yet. I'm going to go ahead and mirror you today, so I'll be giving you verbal instructions of the opposite of what I'm doing, but it should be mirror to what you're doing here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and release that left arm. I'm gonna isolate the elbow now, and you're gonna sweep that hand across in front of you and bring it around in a circle, keeping the fingers spread wide here. As we spread the fingers wide, it helps stretch out that fascial plane all the way up into the neck. And you can even let that right ear drop towards the right shoulder, and then changing directions. And then shaking that out, you can go ahead and shake out the wrist, and then we'll extend the palm out wide and then bringing it into a fist. And then extending the palm wide again and back into a fist. Just repeating that a few times. And we'll go ahead and switch over to the other side. And now taking that right thumb and connecting it with those fingers, we're going to place that under the crook of the right arm and making little circles with that left elbow. Bringing in a little bit deeper rotation of that shoulder here. Perhaps zoning in on the movement of the shoulder blade as you do this. There's connections in the neck, there's connections in the shoulders, and changing directions. And we'll release that arm down, and we're going to isolate the elbow now, and then sweeping the hand across in front and around in a circle. Again, keeping that hand spread wide to stretch out that fascial plane, and you can let that left ear fall towards the left shoulder. And changing directions. And then go ahead and shake out that right arm, shaking the wrist. We're going to spread that palm wide, bringing it into a fist, spreading it back into a palm, opening up the joints of the hand, the fingers, the wrist. All right, and we'll release that and do any final shakes that feel good for the upper body here. Next, we're going to do some hip rotations. So you can picture that you have a hula hoop just kind of levitating here at your waist. And we're going to bring the hips around wide as though you're scraping the inside of the hula hoop here. Starting to gently open up the vertebra, some of the joints of the lower body. And then as you're ready, we'll go ahead and change directions, making the movement as large as you are comfortable with today, but going for a good range of motion here. All right, and then we'll release that. And now we're going to do some rotations of the hips. So we're going to you go ahead and start out with putting about 90% of the weight in that right leg. You can use a little support here if you need to. And we're just going to rotate that left hip in the socket here. Just be just real small movements here. You can make a larger rotation, whatever's comfortable for you, and changing directions. And then we'll switch sides now, shifting the weight over so that most of it is supported on that left leg. And then we'll go ahead and lift up the right leg as you're able to, and just doing some small rotations of the hip on the right side. And again, feeling welcome to use a chair or a desk or something to help with balance here. All right, and we'll do some flexion and extension of our knees here. So with your shifting the weight back to the right side, we'll go ahead and just extend and flex that left knee here, back and forth. You can do circles if you want to. The knee joint's more made for the flexion and extension though. So if you've had any issues with the knees, I would just do the flexion and extension for now. And we'll switch sides. So now weight's on the left side. Flexing and extending that right knee. And releasing, and we'll just stay on that side. We're going to do some rotations of the ankle now. So pressing the ball of that right foot into the ground, we'll just rotate that ankle, opening up that ankle joint and some of the joints in the feet and the toes, and changing directions. And then we'll switch sides. So shifting the weight to the right side. Now we'll press the ball of that left foot into the ground and rotating this left side here. This would be a time if we were in a studio where we had tennis balls or maybe the other thing is badminton, some of the harder balls. You could actually, we would maybe use those and roll them underneath the feet. So if you have some at home and you're watching this, now would be a good time to do that too, getting a little massage of the feet and kind of waking up the nerves there. All right, so we'll go ahead and release that. And now we'll go ahead and we're going to rotate the neck. Now that we've opened everything else up, you can go ahead and just drop the chin towards the chest, rolling the right ear towards the right shoulder, chin back to the chest, left ear to the left shoulder. And now staying on whichever side you're at, you can lift the gaze upward and perhaps down towards the ceiling or towards the ground. And then rolling the chin back towards the chest, going to the other side. And perhaps lifting the gaze upward. And then down towards the ground. And releasing. And then go ahead and shake out anything else that still feels like it needs a little bit more opening before we get going here. Shaking it up and just kind of, you can even imagine shaking things up and then imagine breathing them down through the soles of the feet with those nice deep breaths. All right, and then we'll come back to stillness and just noticing the body, perhaps noticing some tingling sensations of the nervous system, perhaps noticing some areas where there might be some more blood flow now. I'm going to do some side bending now. So feet as wide apart as you need them here. We're going to go ahead and inhale the arms up overhead. Now when we're doing this today, I'm going to suggest that you actually bring the palms together to help bring the shoulders away from the ears and kind of relax the neck. And at least get that idea and then lift the arms back up for our movements today. So inhale the arms up overhead, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab that right wrist. And then we're gonna stretch over to our left side here, stretching the entire right side of the body. So pressing down with that right foot into the ground and feeling that line from that right foot all the way up through the tips of the fingers on that right side. And then coming back to center, assessing the shoulders again, and now we'll go ahead and grab that left wrist and bending towards our right side now, stretching the entire left side of the body. And pressing down with that left foot into the ground and feeling that connection from that foot all the way up into that right pinky finger. And coming back to center, and we're going to place the palms of the hands together again. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see here, and go ahead and let the thumbs drop towards the base of the skull here, getting kind of a passive opening of the chest and the front side of the body. Doing this rather than a deeper back bend here. That's what the practice really is about today, creating space in the body. And then releasing the arms back up, we'll go ahead and stretch to the side one more time. So grabbing that left wrist, stretching over to the right side, pressing that left foot into the ground. Back to center, and now grabbing that right wrist and leaning to our left side, pressing that right foot into the ground. And back to center. And then we'll go ahead and sweep the arms down and behind us. And you can grasp behind you or placing the hands on the hips, whatever works for you. If you grasp behind you, you can actually press the palms together and then kind of directing your energy of the hands downward, feeling that opening in the chest here. At the same time, extending the top of the head up towards the ceiling and slightly tucking the chin in towards the chest. And releasing there. All right, so now we're going to be doing some forward bends, and I'm going to show you first if you're using the chair for this. You use the chair as support, and go ahead and you'll bend forward, bending the knees so that the chest comes down to the thighs, and then you're going to walk out using the chair as a support, and we come up to a flat back. You'll just press up, coming up so that you straighten the spine, finding space, okay? And for those who aren't using the chair, we'll go ahead and inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead and bringing the palms together. Exhale, bringing the hands towards the heart. We'll do this actually 3 times to start with. Inhale, the arms up overhead, palms together. Exhale, palms coming down towards the heart. Final time, inhaling the arms up overhead, palms together. Bringing the palms down. This time we're going to go ahead and bend the knees, big bend in the knees, coming down, hands towards the ground. And then we're going to go ahead and press the fingertips into the ground and just walk out the hips. So either your fingertips are on the ground or you're using the chair for support here. And on the next inhalation, we're going to come up to a flat back. So you'll bring the fingertips to the shins and engaging from the feet up through the tailbone and then from the tailbone out through the top of the head. So you want your chin in towards the chest here, finding as much space in the back side of the body, the backs of the legs, and in the vertebra as you can. And I would suggest keeping a little bit of a bend in the knees here, actually not trying to force the legs straight. Or if you have the chair, same thing. Just trying to find as much length in the body here as you can. And then on the next exhale, we'll go ahead and bend the knees, chest coming towards the thighs. And just releasing here and allowing gravity to create some space in the spine here. Next inhalation, we'll come back up to that flat back. So hands coming to the shins, finding that length in the spine, engaging from the soles of the feet up to the tailbone, tailbone out the top of the head. Whether the hands are on the shins or they're on the chair here. And then exhale back into our forward fold. And then this time as we inhale, we're gonna bend the knees and with strong legs coming back up to standing. And you can sweep the arms up overhead, bringing the palms together. Exhale, bringing the hands back to heart center. All right. And we're gonna do just a couple more standing postures here that might be a little challenge to balance, but are good for some strength and flexibility and for balance. So we're gonna start out here by doing just a high lunge. So go ahead and step the left foot forward. You can have the feet as wide apart as you need here for balance. And then shifting the weight forward as you bend that right knee, or sorry, the left knee, just making sure that the knee doesn't go beyond the ankle. You can hold the chair here for support, or you can bring the arms up overhead. I would just leave the heel of the back foot up off of the ground unless you need it down for the sense of stability. And then arms back down if they're up. And we'll go ahead and step back or step forward. I'm going to do another bounce. We'll just keep this left leg forward here. So now you're going to go ahead and shift 90% of the weight into that left leg again. And first, just finding a sense of stability on this one leg here. So about 10% is on this right leg. And for your balance, it might be just coming up onto the toe of this foot, perhaps even with the chair. Or you can go ahead and grasp that the right foot with your hand, pulling it up towards the seat. And you can hang on to the chair here, or you can bring that left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. And then releasing that leg when you're ready. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So now our right leg's forward, the left is back. You can come forward a few feet, whatever's comfortable works for you. And then we'll bend that front leg, shifting the weight forward into our high lunge here. You can, again, use the chair here for stability or bringing the arms up overhead here. Feeling the strength of the legs here, the connection to the earth. And then releasing the arms back down. We'll go ahead and step the feet back together. And then we'll go ahead and turn our feet out about 45 degrees from each other. We're just gonna do just a very mild squat here, or you might have heard it referred to as goddess posture in yoga classes. So you can just use the chair here and come down, bringing the knees out towards the right knee going out over the right big toe, the left knee coming out over the left big toe. Or you can go ahead and inhale the arms up, and then as you exhale, pulling the shoulders in towards the rib cage as you go ahead and drop down kind of in a straight line into that squat, inhaling back up, exhale back into the squat. Just gently opening the hips here. We'll do one more here. Back up, and then dropping the arms back down, turning the feet back towards center. We'll bring our feet back together, and we're going to go ahead and make our way down to the mat now, or to your chair, whichever is your plan for today. So everything we're going to be doing can be done in the chair, and I'm going to be on the mat. I'm going to have my chair back behind me just so that I can jump up and show people in the chair occasionally some modifications. And if you're sitting on the chair, if you're sitting on the floor, I'd suggest having maybe a pillow or a blanket, something to sit on. Something to help bring the pelvis up above the knees. You can find easy posture, which is just bringing in one foot and then the other into an easy posture. This does not work for your hips. You can also come to a kneeling position. We're going to go ahead and do a breathing exercise here, or from your chair, called alternate nostril breathing. So for this one, you're going to take the pointer and the middle finger, or the peace fingers here, place them between the eyebrows. I'm going to describe it first. We're going to use the thumb to close off the right nostril, and the fourth and the fifth finger to close off the left nostril. Now we'll start is we'll close the right nostril with the thumb, inhaling through the left side. We'll retain the breath, and then releasing the thumb, we'll exhale through the right nostril. We'll inhale through the right side, retain, and then releasing the fourth finger, exhaling through the left nostril. So if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and join us. With the fingers between the forehead here. So we have the right nostril plugged with the thumb, inhaling through the left side, retaining both sides. Releasing the thumb, exhaling through the right nostril. And now inhaling through that right side. Retaining as long as comfortable for you, and then releasing the left side, exhaling through the left nostril. And then you'll just continue on at the pace of your own breath here. Last breath here. And then as you're ready, just releasing the hands to the thighs. And just taking a moment now, noticing the thoughts that are now present. Noticing the sensations that are now present in the body. And if the eyes were closed, you can open them again. And we're going to go ahead and come to a wide-legged position here. If you're on a big pillow, I would suggest moving off, or a little bit of elevation is okay, but we don't want too much here. If you're in the chair, just finding a comfortable position where you can spread the legs out wide. And then just gently engaging out through the soles of the feet here. And you can press the fingertips into the ground, or perhaps grasping the chair behind you, using that to kind of help find length in the spine here. And the knees might be up like this, that's fine. Just wherever you're at is where you're at today. And with each exhalation, perhaps thinking of focusing that exhalation to any areas of tension. Using the breath to kind of allow for a little greater release here. And then we're going to go ahead and shift towards our right side here. So just shifting the torso so you're facing that right foot. And again, we're going to find that length in the spine, and just perhaps just a gentle fold forward here. Not looking to pull forward here, but just finding that length and space in the body. And releasing, we're going to go ahead and shift to our left side now. Again, you can use the fingertips on the floor, on the chair, to help find that length in the spine, and gently folding forward here. Just imagining that exhalation perhaps being directed down into that left thigh there, and bringing a little greater release here. Coming back to center, and we'll go ahead and fold towards the center here one more time. Maybe walking the hands forward. And coming back up to a neutral spine, we'll go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together or towards each other, however works for you. If you're in the chair, allowing the knees to fall open, getting that nice stretch in the hips here. You can go ahead and give yourself a foot massage too, while the pads of the feet are available if you want to. As you're doing that, finding that length in the spine here again. resisting any urge to pull forward and curl under, but just finding length and gently folding forwards. And then releasing the legs out. We'll go ahead and shake the legs out. And then we're going to do some rotations of our ankles with the legs straight out in front of you here. As you rotate the ankles, noticing the corresponding opening in the knees and the hips, even the lower back, changing directions. And pointing and flexing the toes here. All right, we'll go ahead, and if you're on the floor now, we're going to go ahead and move to our back. So you can move out any cushion or blanket that was behind you. You'll be lying on the ground with the knees bent, soles of the feet against the ground, and I'll have everyone just bring your hands to your belly and just connecting with the breath here. If you're sitting in the chair, perhaps shifting the pelvis forward if you need to find a more neutral position for the spine. And just sensing all those areas where the body comes in contact with the ground or with the chair. And then we'll go ahead and pull the knees in towards the chest if you're lying on the ground. Or if you're on the chair, you can fold forward so that the chest comes to the thighs, the top of the thighs. And we can gently roll back and forth. Just gently opening the spine here, massaging the lower back and the outer hips. And then we'll place the right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left knee, and we're going to do circles with the knees. So taking the knees away from you and then out and then up towards your chest, back together. So they're going in opposite directions if you're lying on the ground here. So circles of the knees that are rotating the hips and feeling all those connections into the lower back. And you can continue on if you're on the floor. I'm just going to hop up to the chair quick to show those who are on the chair. You can do something similar, just isolating one leg and the other. So I'm going to start with what would be your left side here, just pressing the ball of the foot into the floor and then doing a little circle here with the knee, rotating that hip. If you're lying on the ground, you can change directions with your circles if you haven't yet. And switching to the other side, getting that rotation. And then we'll go ahead and extend both legs out long, either out in front of you or up towards the ceiling. And we'll do some rotations of the ankles again here. Similar to what we just did in the sitting position, but a little different experience here, just noticing the similarities and the differences. And then we'll go ahead and pull that right knee in towards the chest, dropping the left foot to the ground. Then we're going to extend that right leg up towards the ceiling here. So grasping behind that right thigh. And if you're sitting in the chair here, just extending the right leg out long. And then you can gently forward fold just a little bit over that right leg. Gently engaging that foot up towards the ceiling. And we're going to bring that right heel to the left knee. If you're lying on the ground, you can stretch the arms out wide and letting that right knee fall out, just getting a passive stretch of that right hip here. You can do the same thing in the chair, just bringing that right heel up to the left knee. Just get up here and show that in the chair too. So this was the extended, and then you bring that foot up. And then actually, since I'm up here, then we're gonna go into a spinal test. So if you're in the chair, you're gonna just cross that right leg over the left knee and then gently twist towards your right side. And for those who are on the ground, we're gonna extend that left leg long, shift our hips to the right, and then let our lower body twist towards our left side here. So the arms are spread wide, giving you a sense of anchoring in the upper body. And this right knee does not have to come anywhere near the floor. You can even prop up this right knee with your left hand here. And just taking a few breaths here. And rather looking for a twist here, we're just looking to create space in the body. So keeping plenty of space between that right rib cage and the right hip. You can even shimmy your way up with your shoulder blades here if you need to. And well, everyone will go ahead and come back to center or uncrossing your legs. Shifting the hips back to midline. Now we're going to go ahead and pull that left knee into our chest and then extending the left leg long. So if you're sitting in the chair, just extending that left leg out long and kind of engaging the foot and forward folding. If you're lying on the ground, we'll just grab behind this left thigh here. And then bringing that left heel to your right knee, we'll let that left knee fall out open for that passive hip stretch today. You can stretch the arms out wide. Stretching the arms out, allowing for that opening in the front body here. Opening in the chest, around the area of the heart. And now if you're in the chair, you'll go ahead and cross that left knee over the right leg and twist towards your left side. For those of us on the ground, we're going to go ahead and stretch that right leg out long and shift our hips over to the left side, spreading both of the arms out wide. And we're going to twist our lower body towards our right side. And now finding as much space as we can between that left lower rib cage and the left hip. Perhaps taking a few breaths here and just kind of directing the breath into the rib cage. Feeling the effect of the breath on the posture. And then we'll come back, go ahead and rolling back towards our backs here. We'll go ahead and we're do one more posture here. So we're going to do a bridge. And if you're in the chair, you can go ahead and do the arm movements with us, finding that length in the spine. You'll understand it in just a minute when we do the movement. So just doing that arm movement. And as you lift the arms, finding length in the spine. And we're going to do this movement with the breath. So for those who are on the ground, the first couple of times I'm not going to do the arms. We're just going to talk through lifting the pelvis up off the ground. So as you inhale, you're going to press the feet onto the ground and just gently lifting the tailbone up off the ground and perhaps rolling up for a few vertebrae. And then as you exhale, gently rolling back down, tailbone back to the ground. Inhale, pressing the feet into the ground, gently lifting the tailbone up, perhaps going a little bit higher, finding length here in the body, length from the knees, clear up to the shoulders, out through the head, and exhale, gently dropping down. You can add in the arm movement here too. So as you inhale, you'll bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, arms coming back towards the ground with the exhalation. Inhale, pressing the feet into the ground, arms up overhead as you lift the pelvis up, finding length in the body. Exhale, rolling back down. We'll do one more here and hold it up. So inhale, arms up overhead. And just taking a few breaths here, finding as much length as you can in the body. And then we'll exhale, gently rolling vertebra by vertebra back down towards the ground. All right. You can go ahead and, if you're lying on the ground, pull the knees back into the chest if you want to, making any final movements that feel good here before we do our final Shavasana. If you want to, you can reach the arms between the legs. If you're on the chair, you can do this too, just kind of spreading the knees out wide and draping the body between the legs. If you're on the ground, reaching the legs up, reaching the hands between the legs, grabbing the outsides of the feet. And you can just roll back and forth here for a modified happy baby, or you can actually extend the feet up towards the ceiling and gently rolling back and forth. Perhaps another one, maybe bringing the feet about mat width apart, spreading the arms out wide, and then just gently windshield wipering the knees back and forth, letting them fall first to one side and then back to center and then falling to the other side. You can do this with the breath, inhaling the knees to center and then exhale, letting them drop to the side. And then as you're ready, finding your final rest position here. This could be stretching the legs out long for Shavasana, palms of the hands up towards the ceiling and just letting the feet fall out towards each side. Or if you want a little more support for the lower back, you can go ahead and bend the knees, bringing the feet so that they're about hip distance apart, and then just letting the knees fall together into a rest position here. This can be a little more supportive for the lower back. And then perhaps bringing the hands to the belly. If you're sitting in the chair, finding a nice neutral position for the spine. You can place a blanket or a pillow behind the head, perhaps wrapping up with a blanket. And we'll be here for a good 7 minutes or so. So make yourself comfortable and move if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and sit up, but you can go ahead and close your eyes wherever you're at if that's comfortable for you. Or perhaps just adopting a soft gaze. And settling into just being. Knowing that there's nowhere else to be or nothing else to be doing in this moment. And sensing all the areas where the body comes in contact with and is supported by the ground or by the chair. And really feeling the body as held and supported and safe. Just noticing all the sounds in the room around you. Noticing the sound of my voice. Noticing the sensation of air on the skin. I'd like you to just invite in the idea of an inner resource, a sense of safety or of comfort or of ease. And if you'd like to, you can perhaps bring to mind a place, real or imagined, perhaps a place from your childhood or a room in your home. And just noting what it feels like to be there. Perhaps a place that you always have dreamed of traveling. And you can just stay with that inner resource if you'd like to, or you can follow my words as we scan the body here. Bringing the attention to the jaw, sensing the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Release to gravity. And sensing the temples, the forehead. Release to gravity. And sensing the top of the head, the back of the head. Sensing the neck and the shoulders. Sensing the jaw, the neck, and the shoulders release to gravity. And sensing the arms and hands. The palms of the hands and backs of the hands. Sensing the fingers. And sensing the chest and the belly and their gentle movement with the breath. And sensing the upper back and shoulder blades. Sensing the mid back, the gentle curve of the lower back. Sensing the hips and the pelvis. And sensing the strength of the spine. Sensing the left leg and left foot. Sensing the right leg and right foot. Sensing the entire body as sensation. And now bringing the attention to the breath. And sensing the movement of air at the nostrils. Perhaps noticing the coolness of the inhalation and the gentle warmth of the exhalation. Sensing the gentle rise and fall of the belly with the breath. The gentle expansion and release of the rib cage. And sensing the breath as a wave in the body, gently ebbing and flowing. The breath gently nourishing the body. And now bringing the attention to the area of the heart. Perhaps bringing to mind something from this week that brings a sense of gratitude or a sense of strength. What does that sense of gratitude or of strength feel like in the body? And perhaps noticing a stillness amongst all the changing thoughts, sensations, and emotions that might be present. And now you can begin to deepen the breath, sensing the breath deep in the belly. Perhaps bringing some gentle movement to the fingers and to the toes. And if you're lying on your side, you can roll, or sorry, if you're lying on your back, you can roll to one side and taking a few breaths there. And if you're ready, making your way up to a comfortable seated position. With the eyes closed for just a few more breaths, noticing the thoughts that are now present and noticing the sensations that are now present in the body. And perhaps still sensing that gratitude or that strength, that sensation of that inner resource. And as you're ready, bringing in sensations of light, you begin to open the eyes, taking in color and shapes in the room around you. And as you're ready, arriving fully present in this moment, just as it is. And I want to thank you all for joining us in this practice today. Thanks for taking this time for yourselves. I hope you'll carve out some more time during the following week and perhaps join the center for some of the events coming up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
This was wonderful.